Hello, my loves. My name is Sitara. We are back today for quantum leaping through May. Doesn't matter when you watch this, if you're watching this now with me live or the replay, at any point in time. What we're talking about through the month of May is the metaphysical fundamentals of creating a quantum leap, as well as the absolute practical aspects of what is required to bring in a quantum leap. So again, let's go ahead and define what is a quantum leap. Well, a quantum leap is where you go from one particular point, usually from a point of being stuck or a point of discomfort or pain, and or a point of pleasure where you can then ride that wave, ride that current to a new position or a new place of being, right? So new opportunities, whatever it is that you're calling in. If you're in the coaching world, maybe a book opportunity, more paid speaking opportunities. If, whatever your industry, whatever your life experience is, the quantum leap is creating and calling in a better circumstance than what it is that you are already experiencing. And so that better circumstance is going to bring you into a new point of your vibrational, I like to use the term vibrational climate, and also vibrational integrity. So what do I mean by those two terms? These are some of my favorite terms, by the way. Vibrational integrity means that you absolutely cannot hide from universal currents, from law of attraction, from law of assumption. You absolutely cannot hide from some of the circumstances that you are resonating at. So your vibrational currency is what you have in exchange of magnetism for the universal currents. So what you are emanating is also what you are attracting. So when we're talking specifically about a quantum leap, and a quantum leap, like I said, it is really making a large vibrational jump. We can discuss this by talking about free will choices. We can discuss this by talking about, like I said, vibrational integrity. But we can also talk about this as far as timelines. So let's go ahead and talk about timelines. I don't like the word dissect, but let's go into this a bit more so that you can become really aware of what you are cultivating in your life by means of your free will choices. So timelines, they can be one of those concepts, they can be one of those concepts that sound out there or hard to grasp or woo-woo or like whatever. It's not that complicated. And I actually have a video here on YouTube that's called Jumping Timelines. And timeline jumping really, again, has to do with your own vibrational currency, your own vibrational signature frequency. So when we're talking about being in one vibrational climate and shifting to a new one, you're shifting onto a new timeline. A quantum leap is shifting from one timeline, where you're on one trajectory moving forward, and you shift onto a new timeline that allows you a completely different set of possibilities, opportunities, people, places, and things. It shifts the entire composition of what your reality, what your lived in reality actually is. So when we are feeling into that timeline of choice, that timeline of perspective, where is it that we are now? What is it that we are uncomfortable with? What is it that we want to change? What are the things that are shifting in our life that we want to acknowledge can bring us into a new state of grace or a new state of presence? We want to acknowledge how capable we ourselves are at creating a new way of being. So when you start to understand the absolute fundamentals of cultivating and creating a quantum leap, you can lather, rinse, repeat. You absolutely can. One of the caveats with quantum leaping that I do want to share is that where you are now and where you want to be, there's a whole heap of like emotional gunk, emotional blockages that are keeping you from being able to experience the desired reality in your right now present time awareness. So when you quantum leap, and when you start initiating a quantum leap, and when you really start saying, okay, I'm here, but I want to be there, and you start taking the action steps and the intentional comprehension, when you start comprehending with your mind, when your heart starts aligning to that new timeline, when you intuitively are getting those hits and those synchronicities that are bringing you into that new state of awareness, that new state of being, that new state of your own vibrational climate, when your energetic weather starts changing on a consistent basis, that's when you have really initiated that fundamental change. But that fundamental change starts within. That fundamental change starts within your internal state of well-being, and that's what I mean by your vibrational integrity. So your free will, the way that we activate and the way that we use free will in this world, on this planet as human beings, and you can use your free will to activate your psychic abilities. You can simply ask, you could set up an intention and a prayer, and if that feels right to you right now, go ahead and place your palms face up in receiving mode and just simply set the intention. I'm ready and willing to open up my innate psychic abilities. I trust in my innate psychic abilities. I open and activate conscious and clear connection to my innate psychic abilities, activating a clear purity with my own intention, honoring my keen state of focus, I also choose to consciously activate my free will, acknowledging that each and every choice that I make at any point along the day honors my own divine intention and state of practice in well-being. You can also simply say right now, I activate my free will intention to invoke a quantum leap from my current state of presence to my absolute alignment to my own golden timeline. So what is your golden timeline when we're talking about timelines? Because I used to have a yoga teacher. I've done a lot of Bikram yoga. I like the intensity. I'm an intense kind of lady. So in Bikram yoga, at the end, Shavasana, and you're like, you've already made it through 3 death spirals and you've made it to the end of class and you're like, thank God, it's over, and you Shavasana. Well, he was very clear in the intention of your Shavasana, that it's not just laying on the mat like, okay, I made it through. The Shavasana, the intention of the Shavasana is making sure your scapulas are back, your shoulder blades are back tucked under your back. And as well that your toes, your big toes are touching, because there are, let's say, 1,000 different points or places where your big toes or your feet could be laying. But if your big toes are touching, then is that one point. It is that one point of predictable nature, a predictable programming, that is your state of Shavasana. So in that point, and why this is coming up in alignment in our conversation with the golden timeline, is that your golden timeline is the one singular timeline that is most clearly associated with your absolute highest joy. Your absolute highest joy, your absolute point of fulfillment, your absolute point of peace, peaceful mind, peaceful heart, peaceful integrity. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, go ahead and like this video. Play the algorithm game with me. But that point of your golden timeline, that when you are manifesting or when you are cultivating, curating, intending, creating a quantum leap, That when you are setting that intention to quantum leap to your absolute highest and best point of your golden timeline, that clears up the confusion of how many different options you have, of how many different choice points and forks of the road. And you may or may not have been on this path long enough to know that the timelines of possible intentions and parallel realities are all coexisting simultaneously. So you can choose by way of thought to be on a completely different timeline. Well, when it comes to a timeline of, like, let's say you living in the place that you're living in now, but choosing a different timeline that's like you living in Australia or you living in Scotland, pick a place, then there's this point of creation where the things in your world and your life have to move. And so that's where, if you are cultivating a quantum leap and you're sitting there worshiping the altar of it hasn't happened yet, it's not working, you're right. You are creating that. That's why vision boards work. It's why scripting works. Because you are continuing to draw your line of focus and your line of intention and attention to that one point, that one place where you are drawing the intention of your own creation. You're drawing the intention of your own cultivation. So that place, that point, that resonance for you to your golden timeline. And how do you create this golden timeline from within yourself? Well, this is a really beautiful point and concept. And I'm going to go into this tomorrow. Because that one point and place of how do you really know that you're on that point of your golden timeline has a lot to do with what's going on in your heart. And I'm not talking about Hallmark videos, Hallmark cards. I'm talking about what's going on inside of your heart as the physical location that the apex of your soul resides inside of your physical body. So if your heart is closed, you are closed off to your truest desires. And if you are closed off to your truest desires, then you're not able to listen to the whispers of your higher self and the whispers of your soul that are guiding you to your highest timeline. So with that, my sweet loves, if you haven't already checked out the Quantum Cash Flow, I have a playlist on here that's called Quantum Cash Flow. It's 21 days of free Quantum Cash Flow transmissions. I don't know why that's coming in right now, but I am being guided to guide you to that. There's a playlist, like I said, on my channel. You can find it here. I highly recommend starting to tune into that. It's 21 days, completely free here on YouTube playlist. Go start tuning that, go start checking that out and start to tune your frequency into the releasing. The Quantum Cash Flow does a lot of releasing of inner limiting beliefs and inner limiting blocks. So as we're doing this quantum leap through May, that's a great place to start. So start there. Find me here tomorrow, 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, and we're going to go into the inner workings of your heart and how activating your heart will bring you onto that golden timeline, which aligns you into this quantum leap field. And be ready to feel, be ready to clear up the emotional clutter that you have going on in your heart, because a quantum leap happens when we change our vibrational integrity, when we change our vibrational currents, which has a lot to do with emotions, feelings, intentions, thoughts, actions, the whole makeup of who you are and how you're showing up in the world. So I intend to continue to stay here and stay present with you through the month of May. Well, and for as long as I'm here, let's go. This is my purpose. But specifically for this through May, so that we can create and cultivate that quantum leap. If you're interested in a quantum leap intensive, a 3-day quantum leap, like actually doing the internal work and the vibrational releasing, let me know in the comments below. I'm kind of percolating, thinking about doing that this month. And so if you're on board with that, that would obviously help streamline and put some fuel in the tank to make that a reality. So with that, my sweet loves and friends, I adore you. Thank you for being here with me today. Please talk about this quantum leap for May with your friends and family members. Bring them on board. And like I said, play that algorithm game with me. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe so that we can generate more, just more community around this particular topic. All right, my loves, I adore you. Thank you for being here with me today. And as we go forth, may we integrate with healing, self-love, and compassion. All right, my dears, I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah!